Very often within the business analysis community, we have discussions tied to where this profession of ours actually falls. After all, we have requirements engineers whose primary responsibility is, you guessed it, collecting and documenting requirements. So what makes a business analysis different than requirements engineering? Well, for starters, a BA does a lot more than collect requirements. And if there's anything I want to impress on you during this quest that we have, it's the breadth of activities to be found within the business analysis domain. Every time we have this conversation, the general consensus is that the work of a business analyst is strategic in nature. Although we are clearly not responsible for setting up the strategy, very often we are called upon to perform various activities where the business strategy is either the driver of our actions or at the very least holds a direct influence. You'll hear me talk about traceability often. And what you're looking at right now is a good example. We go from the mission and vision of an organization, or the what are we here for part, to the strategy, or how do we get there part. And this is really our benchmark. Do our activities mirror our strategy, or don't they? Continuing briefly on this example, you'll see that we have objectives following strategy because, after all, if you can't measure them, they have no meaning. To make sure we reach those objectives, we need an organization that's focused on them. And then we have the corresponding tasks fulfilled by the employees. Those objectives are based on metrics, and that they can be measured is all quite clear. But what about those elements more difficult to measure? And more importantly, make any required adjustments to ensure that the organization stay on track. Enter the balanced scorecard, which has many fathers but is primarily attributed to Dr. Robert Kaplan and David Norton in an article that came out in 1992. This system allows an organization to look at themselves through the eyes of their shareholders, their customers, internal performance, and lastly, are we focusing on creating value? You'll find numerous references where you can find out much more information on the balanced scorecard. But I mention this data model as I feel that most, if not all, of the elements to be found within the balanced scorecard are related to BA activities, and it's not uncommon to find business analysis deploying the use of such tools like the scorecard because it falls in line with those BA duties. So in closing, it's important to remember that these two words, business and analysis, were not screwed together by happenstance, but the activities to be found within this domain have to, by nature, be strategic. Thanks for viewing.